Well, you can score a big one for the good guys. The FBI and the New York Police Department have arrested 4 men targeting New York City synagogues with explosives. They also wanted to blow a U.S. jet, a military jet, out of the sky.
Right now, it looks like there is no connection between the men arrested and any known terrorist cell.
Homegrown.
Homegrown, I should say. New York Congressman Peter King is the ranking Republican on the Homeland Security Committee. Congressman King, this happens. You hear about these guys getting militarized and getting radicalized in prison. How does that fit into the big Gitmo debate and bringing them to U.S. soil?
Well, it's a major issue because, as FBI Director Mueller said the other day, that there's a real problem in the prisons about Islamic radicalization. And now if you're bringing hundreds of prisoners from Guantanamo who are very ideologically trained, that would add to that whole radicalization issue. And I can tell you, going back several years, whether it's California or New York, there's a real concern about these jailhouse conversions because they often become the most radical of the Islamic fundamentalists. And it's no coincidence that all of the ones yesterday, all of them were converts, and they were converted in prison, and many of these imams are extremely radical. To add to that, Guantanamo detainees would make the situation much worse.
Absolutely. And Congressman, what about that story out of Washington that apparently since January, the Pentagon's been sitting on a report that says that 1 in 7 of the people released from Gitmo go back into the terrorism business. And the Pentagon's been reluctant to release it because it would make Obama look bad.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to find out why that report has been held. I've heard those same numbers, that it's upwards of 70 of those who were released have gone back to the battlefield. And they were the ones who were released, who were the ones who were considered the least risky, the ones who were least dangerous.
That's right.
So if the 240 are left behind, can you imagine how many of them would end up back in the battlefield?
Congressman King, what did you glean from Barack Obama's speech yesterday? Where do we go from here in this war on terror?
Brian, I was actually there. I was invited by the president. I was sitting up with Leon Panetta. I was extremely disappointed. First of all, I thought it was factually inaccurate for him to say that those tactics did not work when, in fact, every CIA director, including his own director of national intelligence, says they did work. The fact that he says he's not going to allow any of them to be released on American soil, well, how does he know that? If he's going to give them trials in civilian courts, I don't know how you convict them in a civilian court, then they would be released. Then, on the other hand, he said he's going to detain those who he thinks are dangerous. I don't know what the authority for that is. I would support him, but to me, he's going far beyond whatever President Bush had asked for. But I would support him on that. But I think he's got to stop looking back 25, 30 times and attacking President Bush.
Well, yesterday, Peter King accepted the invitation of the president. Today, he accepted our invitation to be on Fox and Friends. Thank you, sir.
I'm moving up in the world.
All right,
Peter King.
And we'll see him in the parades on Memorial Day. Meanwhile,